I was getting really disheartened in the beginning. I didn't think I'd be able to do it because you keep getting tapped out, you keep getting destroyed by everybody. Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. So today I'm going to be talking about why I started Jiu Jitsu and the history of Jiu Jitsu. So let's get into the video. Before I start, I'd first like to thank someone. I'd like to thank Connor Gilpin. He's made my new outro music, and if you want to go check out his channel, it's going to be the first link in the description. I'd like to thank him very much for that, and it was really, really good. Secondly, if you haven't already subscribed, drop the subscribe button. We're nearly 500 subscribers, so please, if you're enjoying the content, I really appreciate you subscribed. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the history of Jiu-Jitsu because I find it really interesting. But if you're not really interested in that and just want to find out why I do Jiu-Jitsu and stuff, you can skip to this time. Yeah, so hope you enjoy it. Although its origins can arguably be traced to Buddhist monks of India, Jiu-Jitsu in its modern form comes from Japan. Jiu-Jitsu was the battlefield art of the samurai of Japan. The samurai warriors were well armoured and usually on horseback, and the art of Jiu-Jitsu was essentially developed to allow the samurai to fight effectively in the event that they found themselves disarmed and on foot. Because of this restricted mobility and agility associated with fighting and armour, Jiu-Jitsu evolved to include throwing, joint locks and strangles in addition to striking moves found in other martial arts. By the mid-1800s, Jiu-Jitsu had fractured into several styles or ryu. Although the techniques varied from style to style, they all generally incorporated most aspects of hand-to-hand combat, including strikes, grappling, and weapon-based attacks and disarms. In the 1800s, a standout of young Jiu-Jitsu, Hiro Kanu, developed his own ryo, which is based around randori, or full power practice against resisting and skilled opponents. This was complete deviation from the partner practice that was prevalent at the time. Kano's style became later evolved into judo, which became one of the most widely practiced sports in the world. A student of Kano's, Mitsu Maeda emigrated from Japan to Brazil in 1914. He was assisted by a local politician named George Gracie, whose father had been an immigrant, hailing originally from Scotland. As a token of gratitude, Maeda taught Jiu-Jitsu to George's son, Carlos Gracie. Carlos later shared his knowledge with some of his brothers, with whom he opened Brazil's first Jiu-Jitsu academy in 1925. Over the years, Gracie's notably and their students refined their art through brutal no-rules fights, both in public challenge matches and on the street. They focused their attention on submission ground fighting, which allowed a smaller man to defend against and ultimately defeat a larger attacker. In the 1970s, Hoyles Gracie began to further refine the art, incorporating, among other things, moves from wrestling into the curriculum. Alongside this, he devised the first point and rule system to Jiu-Jitsu Pacific competition. In the early 1990s, another Gracie, Horian, moved from Brazil to Los Angeles, hoping to showcase his family's fighting system in America. Although no rules mixed martial arts contests had been popular in Brazil since Carlos Gracie first opened the academy in 1925, they're largely known in the rest of the world. Orion and Art Davis conceived of an event called the UFC, which would pit various martial arts styles against each other. UFC enabled challengers from various martial art disciplines to battle others in an effort to prove the credibility of the sport and illustrate the martial art as the best. The first UFC took place in 1993, which was completely dominated by Horian's younger brother, Hoyce. He's not a big man and was outweighed by the other competitors. In spite of this, he exploited the other contestants' ability to conceive of ground fighting and emerge victorious. In 4 opponents in a single night, his wins led to huge interest in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, particularly in the US and Japan, consolidating the sport's status as a truly global martial art. Today's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is riding the wave of the MMA explosion and is the fastest growing martial art in the world. Now, thousands of Jiu-Jitsu academies spread across every corner of the globe. So now I'm going to talk about how I found out about Jiu-Jitsu. So I found out through watching MMA. So the rise of Conor McGregor in the last 4 years has really grown the popularity of MMA in Ireland. So through that, I became a massive fan. I watched the MMA and the UFC every single weekend it's on. So through that, I wanted to start doing martial art. And then I was kind of thinking about it, and I saw Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that appealed to me because it's MMA and striking and stuff. CT, which is chronic traumatic something, basically means brain deterioration due to blows to the head. And then other injuries associated with MMA. So I wanted to start slowly. So I started with Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is a serious challenge. If you don't know what it is, or from the description I just gave, it's ground fighting. So you start standing up, takedowns, and then submissions due to strangles or holds. I started last year in Shaolin MMA in Galway City. Great gym if you want to go check it out. They have 2 gyms, one in Galway City and one in Gort. But I fell in love with Jiu-Jitsu instantly. The challenge every time you go in. So with Jiu-Jitsu, it has been known to be one of the best self-defense martial arts because a lot of people can throw a punch and know kind of like they can throw a punch, but they don't know what happens when they hit the ground. Jiu-Jitsu is really good. So if you ever need to restrain someone, you can restrain them without ever having to hurt them. Matt Serra is a brilliant example. He's a Hall of Fame UFC fighter and now a coach to some of the best fighters. But what he did was in Las Vegas restaurant, a man was harassing a server in a restaurant, and he just pinned him down and restrained him until security could come. Was not one punch thrown, but through Jiu-Jitsu, he was able to restrain him. Another thing Jiu-Jitsu really does, it helps get rid of your ego. When you walk in, a lot of younger lads, including myself, think you're the baddest man on the planet. And when you walk in, no matter what martial art is, you learn to lose your ego pretty quickly. Because if you go in with an ego and you're not willing to tap out, or you're not willing to, learn, you're going to lose a lot and you're going to get hurt because you don't tap out. Tapping out, people think is losing. No, it's learning, because you will tap out. If you want to get good at Jiu-Jitsu, you'll tap out thousands of times. And eventually, slowly but surely, you'll keep getting tapped out, tap out, tap out. Then you'll tap one person out. And slowly but surely, it's just progress. But there's always someone out there better than you. It's a constant learning game. There's no end to Jiu-Jitsu. You can spend your whole life trying to learn it. And then what I've taken away from since starting Jiu-Jitsu. So not judging a book by its cover. Jiu-Jitsu is designed that the smaller man can beat the bigger man. So I've gone in thinking there's a guy smaller than me, like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to take this guy. And then he taps you out, bang, 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 over and over and over again. Because he's got better skill. And it's so easily done. And it happens more and more in martial arts. You wouldn't realise, you think, because like, I gotta be heavy enough and stuff, so you'd think that, oh, I'll be able to beat him. You just get destroyed by them. So that's one thing. More confidence. The fact that I'm able to defend myself has given me a lot more confidence when I walk around, because if you don't know how to defend yourself, like, not that you ever need to use it, but the time comes, at least you have some sort of ability to be able to defend yourself. And I think that's an invaluable asset for any human being. I think anyone should take up at least a martial art in their life, just so they have some sort of know-how if they ever need to defend themselves. Getting out of the comfort zone. Obviously, the messages channel. On a weekly basis, you are put into really, really uncomfortable positions, as in, like, when you're on the ground and you're just getting destroyed, you're really tired, you have to just keep fighting through, keep giving it your all, keep giving it everything. And it's tough, as in, you sometimes just feel like quitting, but if you keep getting out of your comfort zone, simple things like become so much easier, because you are fighting another person. Like, it's one of the most difficult things you can do. Obviously, the more difficult things, but it is one of the best things to get out of your comfort zone on a weekly. And you learn to lose, and that is such an important thing. And it's not failing though. Like, when you tap out, you aren't failing. You fail if you stop showing up to training. But if you keep coming back over and over again, I was getting really disheartened in the beginning. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, because you keep getting tapped out, you keep getting destroyed by everybody. But then slowly but surely, you learn more skills, you keep showing up to training, you put in the time, you get better, then you can start tapping people out, and then you can start trying new submissions and stuff. And that's when the fun begins. So yeah, that's my preventing Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is a really important part of my life. I've really fallen in love with it over the last few years. If you'd like to go check it out, go search up a Jiu-Jitsu gym near you or an MMA gym. And yeah, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm working really hard here to pump up videos during leaving soon. So we will see you next week. Good night, live.